Welcome to a boxing basics tutorial presented to you by Pro Boxer Black Cat. Firstly, we are going to establish the stance, starting with the feet together, heels out, heels out, toes out, then a slight step back with your dominant leg, where in this case we are both in the orthodox stance. Once stance has been established, we continue onto the boxing movements. Moving forward in the orthodox stance means that the left leg progresses first as the lead foot. Similarly, when moving back, as the rear foot now becomes the leading foot. The same concept applies when moving towards your left and right, where the leading foot is determined by the direction you're moving towards. It is important to keep awareness that your legs do not cross during this movement. Also, having your feet square or in line tends to confuse the boxer's bearings in motion, as seen in the instance above. Although I highly endorse making as much mistakes as possible during practice, because the best way to learn is through experience. Up next will be defensive movements, starting off with slipping. Slipping is used to avoid straight punches aimed at your head. This movement is achieved by moving your upper body from side to side, with your waist being the pivot point, not forgetting to always keep your guards up. When slipping the jab against another orthodox boxer, slipping to your right puts you out of your opponent's range, making you favorable for the counter position. And vice versa when slipping the cross. Main points to keep in mind: always keep your guards up in this position. When someone throws the jab in the orthodox position, it is optimal to slip towards your right side and towards your left side when the cross is thrown. Second defensive movement is called ducking. When ducking, you need to keep your eyes on your opponent at all times, as it becomes a common mistake to look down at the floor, losing sight of your opponent. When performing the motion, your head drops and weaves outwards, moving it in the letter U motion, weaving out and under in the opposite direction of your opponent's attack. Lastly, we are going to demonstrate blocking from both attacks aimed at the head and the body. When blocking head attacks, try not to raise the entire arm and elbow above the chest level, leaving the body exposed. Keep the arm closely against your body and slightly lifting the fist towards your ear level. And when blocking the body, slightly shift your elbow towards the hips without exposing the chin. It is essential to make sure that your arms are tightly against your body and face during the blocking defensive movements, because if there are any gaps between your fist and your face during an attack, could cause you to punch yourself and possibly knock yourself out. Up next will be punching or striking techniques. The first two punches performed are the jab and the cross. Jab being the left punch if standing in the orthodox position, and the cross being the right punch. When throwing the jab, make sure the arm is fully extended and in line with the shoulder, because your shoulder will serve as protection during the attack simultaneously. Throwing the cross requires extra hip and ankle rotation from the rear leg in order to generate optimal power, as the cross is also known as the power punch. It is important to make sure that all punches are thrown with fully extended arms to get optimal reach and power out of them. Moving on to the next punches called hooks. Hooks are close range punches because the arm is bent at 90 degrees or less, and power generated from the hips during the punching motion automatically causes ankle flexion. This punching motion and positioning is exactly identical for both the left and the right hooks. The key aspect to keep in mind here is that when the one arm is punching, the other arm is against the chin protecting. The final punch demonstration is called the uppercut. Similarly to the hooks, the arms are bent at an angle less than 90, while the inner part of the fist should be facing you when throwing the uppercut. Turning the hips along with ankle flexion are also an important part of the form. Finally, we will be applying all the skills and techniques learned earlier in the video to compile combinations while hitting the pads. Remember to start off slowly with the correct form in the beginning and build up the speed and power as you go. When repeating a punch such as a double jab, try not to rush the second punch without fully returning it, as that causes the second punch to have less power than the initial punch, as seen in the demonstration above. Remember, it's good to always make mistakes and correct them in a controlled manner. In this last set of combinations, we'll be compiling all the different punches with the different corresponding defenses. Remember, as long as you do what you love and love what you do, the learning experience will always become simple, no matter what the task is. And that's the end of our boxing tutorial. I hope you enjoyed the experience, learned a lot, and please, if there's any questions that you have, leave a comment below, like, share, and also let me know if there's other boxing tutorial requests that you'd like me to make. Other than that, enjoy the boxing session and have a great one.